Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear podcast dad. Happy birthday to you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast.
Already off the rails, folks. Welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I am the podcast dad. My birthday is tomorrow, by the way. Mr. Cincinnati's having a great time with that.
I'm having a great time.
We are live.
Leave me alone, damn it. All right. Okay. Happy birthday, first and foremost, to the podcast dad. I love you. I appreciate you. Welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. As the podcast dad has stated, I am Eric Minster Cincinnati Robinson. Choops, how are you, my friend? One more day left of 24?
28. Thank you.
There you go.
I'll be the big 2-9 tomorrow.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it.
Yes, I'm doing really well. Ready to talk some wrestling. We had some not as eventful days the last couple days. You know, nobody got fired that we know of.
That's fine.
Nobody's, we didn't have any big pay-per-views, but
nobody got fired. But we did hear that there's a tag team that's been under contract for like a minute now in WWE, and we just haven't seen them.
Are you talking about the Authors of Pain?
You know that I am.
That's an interesting turn of events, isn't it? Especially with how their promotion went. Like they did that whole company thing, and that didn't work out, and people got pissed.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those like, come on, I stay ready. Yeah. You know, it's not. I don't know. Okay, great, whatever. We know that WWE keeps talents under contract. It is what it is. It's just kind of how they run their business model. This isn't a tag team that I'm necessarily like, oh my god, I have to have them back like tomorrow. What happened to them? I need more of them. Yeah. I mean, unless Paul Ellering is in the fold, I don't really care. Oh,
so what I read is like. It's all three of them. They're all back.
Okay.
And the point of them coming back is to go down to NXT and get NXT teams over.
Okay.
That's the quote-unquote plan. Obviously, plans change, pal, but
sure.
Like Ellering looks like he's back in the fold.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
it could be good. It could be bad. Yeah. I mean, I thought that there was a lot of meat left on the bone when they were kind of that hired security for Seth Rollins.
Yes.
In their kind of last times on the main roster. I really liked that group. Obviously it doesn't sound like they're coming up to the main roster for anything special, but they were a good tag team. Like the way they were presented in NXT was good. I always go back to the triple threat match that they had at a takeover with the Revival and DIY and the Authors of Pain. Like that was a fantastic match. Was it more DIY and Revival? Sure, but the Authors of Pain played a good role in that to be those big brutes that you can kind of play off of.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned the last time we saw him on main roster TV, it was with Seth Rollins. Is this something that you see a reunion of sorts with them? I mean, like, I know that Seth is he's a white-hot babyface right now. I mean, I think that it would be hard to buy them as a babyface tag team coming in as kind of that hired hand. However, if Seth goes away at some point, I mean, there's a lot more to dissect with that world title rivalry right now, but are you saying that you would want to see them kind of revisit that, or just reminding our audience at home that AOP used to matter at least a little bit on WWE TV, much like the Ascension and Viking Raiders did up until like early 2023?
It's probably the latter. Like I enjoyed what they did in NXT. They came up to the main roster. They were okay. And then that grouping with Seth Rollins, I enjoyed. So I'm saying that there's definitely potential in that group. And obviously, Paul Ellering is a great mind in the business, and having him back in your system, in your company, is not a bad thing to have. Yeah. I think it'll do wonders for NXT down there and kind of almost in a coaching role. Maybe he's an agent, that kind of thing. I think that'll help.
Sure.
But I don't think a pairing with Seth Rollins makes a lot of sense at the moment. Yeah. He was doing that Monday Night Messiah thing and had Murphy as well. And I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
But I'm just reminding kind of, those fans who, oh yeah, I remember AOP and NXT. Well, they did a little bit on the main roster. So maybe potential in the future that could be something. If you're going to do a hired gun right now, it's Bronson Reed, which
As it should be.
Well, he wasn't on Raw, so
I know. Well, so also, all points bulletin out for Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, one half of the women's tag team champions, Piper Niven.
So I did read what was wrong with her.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this.
I did not.
So I want to say it was Fightful's reported that she just had an illness. So she is.
Sorry to hear.
She's good. There's just a small illness. No major injury, no minor injury, anything like that. Just
good.
Something that doesn't appear that she'll be off TV for an extended period of time.
Okay. All right. Well, we like to hear it. Speaking of things that we just, you saw this, but our audience out there of zero that has not seen this yet. I mean, if there's one thing on this podcast, we try to be as honest as we can. But my piece of Bray Wyatt memorabilia finally came in.
It's a good one.
It is. This one hurt to open a little bit. I knew what was coming, and thank you.
Yeah, I'm waiting for mine. Mine seems to be a little bit of a backlog, but no spoilers. But I do have a Bray Wyatt piece of merch on the way as well. But yes, R.I.P. Wyndham. If you guys haven't, go back and watch anything Bray Wyatt right now.
Seriously.
I just watched. What did I just watch? It was him winning the tag titles with Orton. I just rewatched that.
Oh, dude, that was great. It was
one of those storylines.
Their pairings. Yeah. I mean, that's an incarnation of the Wyatt family that you just,
forget about.
Yeah. It was perfection. It really was.
That whole dynamic with Orton and Harper, where Harper just didn't trust him, and it was good to see Harper again on TV. Like, let's not forget about him.
Thank you, Brody.
Yeah, it was just go back and watch just a random wrestling event every once in a while, and something like that'll pop up.
Absolutely. Before we kind of get into the bulk of today's show, just a quick announcement. We will be joining the Last Week in Wrestling podcast tomorrow, this upcoming Thursday, 7 p.m. We will be live. Shout out to Dylan and the entire crew over there. We always enjoy hanging out with you guys, and we can't wait. It's always nice to be considered to join them, and we know that they like our hot takes, so we got them. Here we are.
The wrestling community. We are excited to, talk to some fellow wrestling fans, and hopefully you guys tune in and kind of see what's going on with them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just get into this week's episode, Bud. I mean, we've had Raw, we've had NXT, Dynamite's coming up in a couple of hours. Man, I think there's at least three big things I think that we can think of when it comes to Monday Night Raw. First and foremost, JD McDonough has he's cemented his place in that organization. Wouldn't you say?
I mean, he gave Damian the new Money in the Bank, so he's in. Which
okay,
yeah, it's weird that you let him in because of that, but okay.
I mean, Sammy didn't do that for. Did he give them new tag team titles? Did he do anything for them to show like, hey?
No,
here you go. Let's be friends.
He didn't. But
exactly, it matters.
There's still some story there. I think. I don't think he's fully in quite
so much.
Yet.
He's getting there. He will be.
He is getting there. Yes.
It's a Judgment Day kind of war games. I think we got coming on here.
Yeah, and I think moving Jey Uso to Raw is going to play into that.
Yeah, it's. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think you have the Judgment Day as that top heel faction, and you have at least three baby faces that we know that have teamed up together, and Sammy, Kevin, and Cody. Now you add the fourth with Jay. Are they going to do a 4-on-4? Is Rhea involved in the war games? I mean, we'll see how that goes. I know your feelings on that.
I want it. I mean, there have already been enough nods to the massive push that Rhea is getting. She had the homage to China for her ring gear at Payback. At this point, why not let her work? She did the spear against Kevin Owens. She put what's his name through a table in NXT the other week that I can't think of right now, but she's done some things. Wesley, that's it. I don't know why that's it. Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna get there.
It's funny because out of everything we watch, there is a little bit of a hierarchy, right? Like WWE and AEW right here, NXT is a little bit lower, but NXT's coming up. Ooh,
oh yeah,
table, but
yeah, for real.
You missed it after the podcast last time. I fully just destroyed my mic, but
it's okay. It's all right.
On live TV, I'm professional.
Yes, exactly. One thing about us going live is that there's not enough B-roll anymore of just you doing stuff or me doing stuff that's just like, oh, that might be funny if I ever actually get to putting together a best of clip series, which could be
it's all saying. Live now, pal.
I know it works for us though. I think it works for us.
I'm happy with it. Obviously, we're paying for it, so yes, thank you
thank you Restream. Yeah,
yes, thank you Restream.
But real talk, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are not, welcome back. Our QR code is in the top left screen, so follow us on every social media platform that we're on. We love doing this. We love talking wrestling. It's always a pleasure to talk to this handsome gentleman right here, even though it's his birthday and he low-key had to remind me. I'm sorry, but, okay. Well, okay, it's basically a birthday. So very clearly not one of those guys that does a birthday week or a birthday month. It's just that one 24-hour period. Day. I respect it.
At this point. All right, are you ready for my big question for you?
I am. Hit me.
So we have had 2, I think, major star-making matches over the last week.
Yes, we have.
I think Jon Moxley, Orange Cassidy.
Ooh, yeah.
And we got one on Raw with Chad Gable and Gunther.
Sorry, my home improvement grunt. Sorry.
And both came in defeat. Who do you think moving forward will have the bigger impact in their company? And that one's kind of right off the cuff. It's kind of a similar story. They're not big enough, that whole story of everything, but they've gotten over organically. They've made it a big deal. And now you have, in my opinion, you have 2 guys that you can slide into the main event scene.
Yes.
In your opinion, who has the, let's say, brighter future right now?
That's a brilliant question. It really is. Right now, I'm going to say Orange Cassidy because we have seen the consistent track record of we will put a championship on you. And it was 31, 32 straight wins as far as his championship defenses, something crazy like that. Yep. He has been trusted to be at basically every position of the card on Dynamite, on Rampage, Collision if he's needed. The body of work is there. I would hope after Monday night, Chad Gable has the opportunity to be considered in that same rarefied air. At this point, Gunther is going to be the longest reigning Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time. And I love everything about that. However, Chad Gable is somebody that you have said this. I have said this. Anybody with a pulse that watches wrestling has said this. There's your next Kurt Angle right there. It's not that hard to see. We know that he can do comedy. We know that he can be serious. If you had told me that Alpha Academy would eventually become that babyface fan favorite where sheesh, thank you would be over, I wouldn't have believed it for a second. I would not have believed it for a second. They could have very easily toiled away in the tag team ranks as a heel tag team because you've got that molly-whopping monster of man meat Otis and just having fun with it and doing their thing and just destroying people under the guise of Coach Gable, who is just that tough-ass, hard-as-nose dude. Sure, fine. Would have been okay with that. However, the addition of Maxine Dupree has been an absolute revelation. Did not think that she would fit into this group as well as she has. And now it's just it's astonishing where we are at now with that unit. The fact that they have not only been able to do that, but there is the pairing of Viking Raiders and Valhalla that you can do something with, because I mean, Sarah Logan wasn't necessarily brought back to be a full-time in-ring competitor. It was to be a part of that unit as a valet manager, gets involved every once in a while. Perfect chemistry with those teams. But Monday was Chad Gable's coming out party. That is the first main event that I can think of that Chad Gable has been involved with. And if you did not watch that match, not only do you need to watch it, but you need to take notes too. It was the finest outing I think that anybody could have asked for him, and at this point in his career. Hats off to WWE for how they made it a big deal in the production value. Social media, it's he's arriving to the building. He's got his wife and kids in tow. His son is dressed in the same ring gear as him. There is somebody that you can market there. The problem, I think, that we'll always have the concern of, whether we like it or not, as far as we know, Vince McMahon is still the final say in creative, which means that there will always be that ceiling of sorts.
Is he? Does Chad Gable get this opportunity if Vince is still making that final decision? I mean, because that one's. And the other thing too with Chad Gable is he going to be able to escape the Shorty G past?
Oh yeah, that's already shattered.
You, in your opinion, you think it's already shattered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking done. Sorry, pardon my language. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, it's. I would agree with you that I think it is Orange Cassidy has the brighter future. I think that he is already positioned as kind of a main event star. He main evented a pay-per-view rather than a weekly television, which he's already done.
Yep.
The title run really, really helps him kind of get the momentum behind him. And I think his character is just so different than anything we've seen ever. I think Gable is going to have that, it's the next Kurt Angle. In the second he puts out a dud, which it happens.
Yeah, sure.
But the second that happens, you're going to get those comparisons to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle didn't do that. Well, Kurt Angle never had a dud. And then in the eyes of management, does that kind of look, okay, well, maybe he's not the guy we thought he was. With Orange Cassidy, I think he's won everybody over. He's won me over. I will say that.
Yeah.
When I first started watching AEW, it was like, okay, he's a comedy character and he's fine. And it's the same thing with Gable. He was a comedy character and it's fine. Both of them have kind of reached that next level. But I have more faith in AEW right now to elevate an Orange Cassidy rather than a WWE and to elevate a Chad Gable.
Okay. And I think that's very valid just because of when you look at the body of work of these of each individual, just 2023 alone, if that's our baseline. Yeah, Cassidy's through the roof here with what he's done and who he's defended the championship with. It's not just been in AEW, it's been on the indies too that he's done this as well. Gable still has a little bit more that he can do in that respect, but I do think he can get there. I think that the question I have for you is it's guaranteed Gunther is going to be the longest reigning Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time.
Yep.
Does Chad Gable end that run? Yes or no?
Nope.
Okay.
And that kind of plays into my next question for you.
Love this.
We're bouncing back and forth. I
love this. This is yeah.
So I'll ask you for both. Like,
okay.
What's Orange Cassidy's ceiling? What's Chad Gable's ceiling?
Oof. Orange Cassidy, AEW champion for sure. Mm-hmm. I do see that happening just because AEW, the basis of their marketing and the way that they have presented themselves over the last 5 years is that anybody can have an opportunity here.
Yeah.
WWE just likes to say that a lot. And when it comes to Gable, I think that he could be world heavyweight champion, not necessarily universal.
Is that because of Roman?
Yeah, that's just too big of a shadow. Because until that story ends, until you remove that from the equation, there's no way to know what the future lineage of that championship is going to look like, And I think it also depends on, because as we sit here, I think that you and I both agree it's still going to be Cody that ends this story.
Mm-hmm.
That we have to see what Cody then does with it after this. Because we know that he will be a workhorse champion. He'll be that guy that's all over the place. But because we've had 3 years of part-time champion per se, unified champion, 1,000+ days, like we're building towards this.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Okay.
How dare you?
Right.
Don't you diminish him?
I'm not diminishing. I'm fine.
There you go.
I'm not diminishing it. Yeah, I will. Okay. All right. I'm just saying that there is a lot that I think needs to be seen as far as what that title lineage looks like after Roman. Whereas with World Heavyweight Championship on Raw, Shinsuke Nakamura, they turned like they I can't even believe I'm going to make this comparison, but I'm going to do it. They Jinder Mahal'd Shinsuke, and it worked. If Shinsuke had won the championship at Payback, would you have been fine with that? I think a lot of people would have. Yeah,
would have,
because he would not have been in that conversation 2-3 months ago, but they did enough to get him there because of the proper presentation. Shout out to WWE and their production value because they know how to do things. Like when they want to do things right, they know how to do it.
So
it just took them 7 years to get to this point.
You thought Jinder winning was a good idea?
It was worth a gamble.
It was stupid.
It was worth a game. Okay, yeah. In hindsight, it was. Like I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying. Look,
it was for Jinder. It was a little bit. It was less than a build for Shinsuke. At least Shinsuke's had a championship past. He's held many titles in the WWE. He's been the NXT champion. With Jinder, it was just out of nowhere.
I mean, but when you think about how long, think about the gap in championship reigns up until that number one contendership point between like for Shinsuke then and now, and same thing with it was the exact same thing. I think anyway, of just it might work, it might not.
All right, let's go back to Chad. What's the ceiling?
Yes. I sincerely hope that I'm wrong. I really hope that I'm wrong about this, but I feel like Chad is one of those guys that will, when it comes to the world title, always a groomsman, never a groom.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong.
See, I see Chad Gable as in a kind of a RVD Jeff Hardy kind of role, where he's going to get popular. He's going to get very, very popular, and he's always going to put on a good match for you.
Okay.
But he might eventually get that one run with the title and then go right back down to
that'd be so nice. That'd be so nice.
That's where I'm thinking. Is maybe he gets that one run. Maybe he finally breaks through and there's something, but he's always going to be, I think, stuck in that mid card where he could have many Intercontinental title runs, just like RVD had, just like Jeff Hardy did. And I'm not comparing popularity, work rate, anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, I think both of them hit their heads on the ceiling, as in Hardy and RVD, and then finally took it. It got, broken. That glass ceiling got broken. Hopefully that happens with Gable. I don't think Gable will dethrone Gunther.
Okay.
I don't know how much longer this title run goes now that he has the record.
Sure.
But I think Jey Uso is going to beat Gunther.
Ooh. Okay.
I think you want to figure out what you have in Jey Uso. They brought him over to Raw. What better way to continue to have him build to possibly a future world champion holder than defeat the big bad Intercontinental champion that broke the record and have him beat Gunther. Okay. He's the one in the last 3 years that's gotten the pin on Roman Reigns, and now you add Gunther to his list. It's going to keep building for him. And I think let's see what Jey Uso does with a singles title, because they're not going to put the world title on him right away. That'd be dumb because you don't know what you have. Put the mid-card title on him. It's elevated enough where it doesn't feel like a mid-card title anymore. I mean, how many times has the World Heavyweight Champion closed the show since Gunther's been on Raw? You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
Gunther
can
is
count on one hand for sure. Yeah.
like Gunther feels like the main champion on that show.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And I mean,
And Jey Uso beats him. That's a big win, and that's all right. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that you brought that up because now that we've seen Jey Uso is officially a member of the Raw roster, we learned on Raw the other night that there will be draft compensation sent to SmackDown to accommodate this. Is this how we get Cody Rhodes back to SmackDown?
Nope.
Okay, who do you think goes?
Kevin Owens. I think that's how you split Sammy and Kevin.
It's so hard to say goodbye.
I could also see Sammy going.
Okay.
I think it's going to be one of those two because they've played the whole everybody in the locker room hates Jey Uso. And
true.
Now that he's over on Raw and SmackDown's got to get somebody, they get rid of one of the most popular people in the locker room and either Owens and Zayn, and that just creates more dissension. And now people are looking at Cody like, what are you doing? Does that lead to, if it is Sammy, that could lead to an Owens heel turn in a program with Cody.
Well, much like Michael Cole pointed out when Jey Uso actually returned to Raw on Monday night, Cody did used to be an EVP, so he doesn't have some pull around here.
Yes. Michael Cole had a couple.
That's the most unbothered dude in wrestling right now.
His research team is on it.
Dude, imagine, think about it. You got Vince McMahon in your ears for 25 years, and then all of a sudden you don't. It's just like, I can just say, what I want.
Say what I want. It's awesome.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely.
This has been good for Michael Cole. I wish Pat McAfee was back because I feel like those two would be great right now with nobody in their ear.
God.
That would be insane.
I would like that trio of McAfee, Cole, and Wade Barrett. Kevin Patrick, no,
go away.
Fine. I'm not going to say go away. I'm not saying that. Those are his words, not mine.
That's fine. Those are my words.
Okay. The thoughts and opinions of those expressed on this show do not reflect the values of insert whatever our LLC name is here. Sorry, it's the lawyer me. Sorry, covering our own asses. Whatever.
You know what they need to do?
What's that?
Is one team needs to be Corey Graves and Michael Cole. Or no, I'm sorry. Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. The other team will be Corey Graves. And if he's not coming back to the ring, Big E.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you have to do something with him. He has way too much charisma just to sit on the sidelines.
I would also like to live in a world where eventually all three members of the New Day are that's your 3-man biz for one of the shows. Please give me that. I will start a change.org petition. Yeah.
I'm just, if Big E's not going to come back, I want him on my screen because he's hilarious. And I think he genuinely loves wrestling.
Yeah.
So let's get him start him in NXT or something in a commentary role or whatever you need to do. But get him back on my television because he's too good not to have on there.
Yeah, it's not hard. Not hard at all. So other than main event, which was just perfection, other highlights, we talked about Judgment Day and JD McDonough's involvement. You think they still got a little bit more to prove?
We got months of this.
We know that War Games is going to be a part of this. We've seen them play this blueprint, as far as Sammy and trying to get involved. I think that this is, I don't necessarily want to call it a rehash, but Bloodline did at least lay a blueprint for how you can do something like this. I'm not going to call it a rehash. No.
It's not. Rehash, I think, is the right word. I don't know if it's not a copy. It's a different story.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, they laid
here's the formula. Yeah. And I think it works.
It's working. Exactly. Look at us. We're in sync. It's working.
Sorry.
Because it's different. It's not Roman Reigns dominating. It's not a single member of Judgment Day because we still don't know. They're kind of giving us small clues of who's pulling the strings in the Judgment Day. It's Rhea. But that's such a different presentation than what the bloodline is because Rhea Ripley is the leader of that group and feels important as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, what they've been able to do with this unit, and when you think about when Judgment Day was first introduced post WrestleMania in 2022 and where it is now, I mean, we did an entire back and forth text caption this of a picture we saw of Rhea and Damian from last year to them now. And it's like, there's no way I would have thought that they're going to do something like this, or that this is how this group would evolve. Like, I think we had all kind of braced ourselves for Brute 2.0 and would have enjoyed it had Edge stayed involved with it. But this is so much better. So much better.
I just remember when they kicked him out. You and I both were just like, whoa.
What?
That was crazy. And it's probably the best thing for him, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Because, Edge, with his part-time schedule, wouldn't have been able to stick around. And Finn wasn't really doing much. Now Finn's on TV every week. In main events. And
guess what? He's got gold.
Silver.
Who would have thought? Look at that. Okay. You know what? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Finn Balor is a world champion in WWE right now. Okay. That's fair.
Unified tag team champion. Yes.
Are tag team championships not world championships for the tag team division?
I don't know what any title is. Are the women's tag team champions world tag team champions?
They are the women's world tag team champions. They were the world champions of the women's tag team division. I can do this all day.
So what's the Intercontinental Champion?
Gunther's just Gunther. Like are you going to tell him that he's not a heavyweight champion of anything? I'm not going to do that, but you can have at it.
I do want to bring up one thing on Raw that I thoroughly enjoyed, and it was a little divisive. Huh?
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It was a little divisive online.
Okay.
That Miz segment was amazing.
Oh, I love that. You guys,
awesome.
Dude, Stu earned his paycheck that night. What are you
so good.
Yeah. Perfect. Brilliant. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the Miz did that. I have no idea how.
That's muscle memory. That's more. I mean, come on. Miz is up there with one of Cena's greatest rivals. He's not an Edge. He's not a Randy Orton, but Miz is on that list, right?
Yeah.
Couple of WrestleMania programs. Not only was it singles, but then they got their women involved. Like, he's on that list. That's just
one of them, the former one. But it's all right. John's
women at the time. Yes, that's fine. So is Nikki. Yeah, whatever.
You think? Is this the way the story's pivoting from that segment? You think it's gonna be John Cena and The Miz? Because it wasn't really much emphasis on LA Knight.
I could see that being enough for the rub. At this point, they're both baby, and much like we said, nobody's booing John Cena anymore. That's a given, right? Unless they actually do a full-fledged heel turn, which, quite frankly, they don't have the cojones to actually do. LA Knight is exactly. And internally, LA Knight is seen as the number one babyface. You're not going to do a babyface versus babyface program between those two. However, there's still plenty of meat on the bone for Miz Cena. Because when you think about it, they've really only had the two programs, so why not do a third? They're those guys that you can just bring back to do something fun with. Miz has been putting everybody and their mom over for most of 2023 as it is, so why not add John Cena to the list? Because he'll do it with a smile and have fun with it.
Is this the best use of John Cena?
I think any time that you get 8 weeks of John Cena is just a good use of John Cena.
I would much rather him have a younger talent that you're going to push in the future and someone that you can see as a star in the future.
Okay.
Because what does this Miz program with John Cena do? It's not going to elevate the Miz. He's going to go right back to where he was. And John
helps John knock some of the ring rust off. I don't know.
For what? You think that happens at Fastlane?
Not going to rule it out.
I mean, if that happens at Fastlane, we're going. If they announce John Cena's at Fastlane,
I was gonna say I've already I will agree that we should probably go to Fastlane. I agree with that already. Just because we get to hear the horns in person and I get to pop like a wild man. So that's it. That's we're doing it. But
it's interesting that if this is the direction they're going, where does that leave LA Knight? Because, like you said, they see him as a top.
It's a good question. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
He got his win over Miz. What?
Yeah.
Is it Austin Theory?
Oh God.
I mean, if they're just trying to stack wins for him.
If this were, I don't really have any interest in that match 1-on-1 without the United States Championship. That's just me.
Yeah, but they're not going to do LA Knight and Ray.
I know that they're not, and I'm not even saying that that's what they should do. I'm just saying that if we were to do LA Knight versus Austin Theory, that would be the only way I would have any interest in it. Grayson Waller is obviously still a wild card after getting a kick to the face last week. You know, he could just be wanting to, be angry to be angry, but what do I know?
Yeah, well, and he's not wrestling a lot either. He's had a couple matches since he's been on SmackDown.
True. Right? I think it's kind of because I think he had, I don't want to say it was a broken leg, but it was something with his leg that they're kind of slowly bringing him along. And I could see why they, would want to take that approach with him, because I think, in case you guys haven't realized, Grayson Waller is kind of money.
And it's obvious that the company's behind him, because he's been on 2 PLEs and hasn't had a match.
Yeah. I mean,
they've given him segments with John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
And Edge. And a match with Edge in the same night, or like a week after, something like that, where it was just like, not only did you get the match, you took the L, but it was just like, you're swimming. Yeah. There's exactly one feud I can think of in recent memory where it's had kind of that similar interaction. I'll give you a couple of guesses if you would like to take a stab.
You got to give me a hint on that one.
Woo!
Something with Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
I don't know. I've kind of tuned most of that out.
Rhea. They had a couple of matches, and I think it was a Smaj DQ finish.
Yeah.
And I think that the exact words after that match on SmackDown, pardon my language to everybody at home, cut camera hard to Charlotte. You're learning, bitch. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that same kind of just keep it going enough to get them to interact, have their thing. They get the rub. Everybody moves on. It's no different here.
All right. We'll see. I don't know what's next for LA Knight. They have momentum.
The world is oyster. I mean, the world is oyster. Let's be honest. There's still Jimmy out. Well, okay, let's keep him away from Jimmy for now, because they're also trying to establish
keep him away from the bloodline.
I heard it the second I said it. Yeah. No, you're right.
Because it looks like they're trying to build maybe AJ as a contender, which we haven't got that match yet in this Roman run.
We've not. No.
And they can put on a good match. We've seen it.
Yeah.
And there's history there.
Yeah.
Because Roman was the one in the ring when AJ debuted.
Yeah. Gives Solo something to do as well, because eventually you can spin AJ off into Solo, get some DQ finishes out of that. Lord knows that Gallows and Anderson could also use something to sink their teeth into. And Mia Yim, where you at, girl?
She was on SmackDown.
I know. I know. I don't like not seeing her every week. That's all.
Well, it's because you got to watch. It's Friday night. I know how hard it is for you.
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's difficult. It's just, I mean, look at our names here. You're the podcast dad. I have no ooses at home here. I mean,
you do not know.
Take a look around. There are no ooses around here.
No, they're not. No. All right. Do you want to talk about that NXT ending?
Real quick, before we go to NXT, I did want to get your thoughts on this as well. We did see Shayna Baszler take on Zoe Stark, and there was a show of respect at the end. Yeah. What'd you think?
Shoulder shrug.
Okay.
I'm not too jazzed about it quite yet.
All right.
The follow-up with Shayna hasn't been kind of what we needed. Zoe is now branching off on her own, and I just have the weird gut feeling that those two are going to team up soon. And I don't want Shayna in another tag.
I know. I don't want Zoe in a tag team either.
That's my feeling right now. We need tag teams, and they're going to throw them in a tag team.
I should hope not. I should hope not. We also had a chat here from my buddy Chris Hines here. Bring back the John Cena prank calls. I mean, he did bring back the Southpaw Championship Wrestling
He
League
did.
catamaran there. That was a nice. I mean, dude, come on.
Anything's
Everything about that
now.
was so much fun. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, especially with John Cena here. And let's be honest, as long as WGA is on strike and SAG and all of that stuff, what else does he have going on?
Nothing. That's why. So, exactly. And it's weird too because, this is not a wrestling topic per se, but like
even though this is a wrestling podcast, yeah,
I know. But like The Rock has been very. He hasn't said it, but his company, what is it? $3 or $5?
$7 Productions. Come on, that's all he had in his pocket. All right.
Yeah, I know. But they've been very adamant of. He's not doing anything. He's with the SAG union and the strike, and it's interesting to see that John Cena can come back and do it. Is that because a lot of people now associate The Rock with Hollywood rather than wrestling, and people still associate wrestling more with John Cena rather than Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, I think that
because Cena's not getting the heat with being on WWE, but I think The Rock would.
And it could also be just, I mean, it could be as simple as whether or not John Cena is actually a part of SAG.
He has to be, doesn't he? Since he
doesn't have to be.
I don't know. That's a whole nother world I don't know about.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting kind of aspect to this. Is this why we're getting all this John Cena here now?
I'm not mad at the fact that we are. I mean, let's be honest. Like, here we are in an era where we have seen John Cena come, we've seen John Cena go, and yet now we're finally in a place where he's just universally beloved. And that was a freaking miracle to actually get to that point. So I think that, I mean, when's the last time you heard Cena sucks?
Just and kind of ironically now that kind of like when Kurt Angle was a babyface and they would chant "Angle sucks."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or exactly. You suck.
Exactly, and that's I still need to watch that documentary.
Yeah, I do too. I still need to watch Cody's.
What? Yeah.
It's hard to do when there's wrestling every night.
Speak for yourself.
And now AEW is just throwing pay-per-views every freaking weekend. We got another one in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
4 weeks?
Well, for those of us that can do it every single night, let's move it on to NXT here. Last night, we had a hell of a show here. And the Fade to Black ending.
That was awesome.
Vic Joseph with that hot call. You son of a... Yeah. That was good stuff. I loved that finish.
Mm-hmm. Are we witnessing...
Loved everything about that.
Are we witnessing something we thought we would never see?
People cheering for Von Wagner.
Von Wagner getting over? I think he is. He's going to be the next one to win you over. I think he is.
I'll make you a deal.
I think he is.
Much like Grayson Waller, and you admitted that, you've bought in.
I have.
If it works, I will pay attention. I will gladly listen. And if it starts to tug at the old heartstrings for Mr. Cincinnati, I'll point that out.
I don't even think it's that. It puts people through tables. What's not to like about him?
Nia Jax did the same thing to CJ Perry for 10 weeks. Where'd that get either of them?
Well, he hasn't hurt anybody yet.
That you know of.
Well, that we've heard of.
Well, I'm not assuming that he's hurt anybody.
Look at you. Totally. That's not a fair comparison.
No, that's called me covering my own ass. Leave me alone. Keep going.
Not a fair comparison. Yes, the ending was awesome. I think this heel Braun has been really, really good. And
it has been a revelation. Yeah.
And it plays into his character so well that I do hate this guy. He's really annoying, and he is better than me, and he's dating Cora Jade, and I hate it. And But
Yeah, I know.
like, also he has the best spear in the business.
And like, honestly, this might have
Saved him.
Yeah, it really. I mean, because if you had taken that character who had shown up on Raw for like once after WrestleMania for the NXT Championship match, had that same guy shown up here on Raw, I think he'd be dead in the water by now. But this has been pretty cool to watch him, tap into that dark side. And the thing is, you're Scott Steiner's nephew. Like, you got a dark side in there. You just gotta, bring it out a little bit more.
Interesting. You didn't go Rick. Interesting. You didn't go Rick Steiner's son. Did something happen with Rick?
No.
Yes, it did. That's why his name is Bricker.
I was really just gonna leave that alone. However,
I brought it up. It's fine.
Who would have thought that we'd be making the comparison to Scott?
Yeah, like Scott Steiner is the less controversial.
It's like, okay, you were the who would have thought? Like, no, they gave him a live microphone for the Hall of Fame ceremony. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, they did. Anything else on NXT pop out for you?
Yeah, actually, let's talk Women's Championship here.
Okay.
On one hand, they deserve more than 7 minutes. Just going to throw that out there now.
Yes.
Tiffany Stratton is doing some. I mean, when it comes to that division, very rarely do you have the opportunity to present somebody who could be essentially the next Mandy Rose as far as a champion that carries herself in that manner. I mean, much like Becky said in Payback, I mean, she kind of hopped out of her Mattel box to come to Pittsburgh to hang out with everybody there. Mm-hmm. That's a huge deal. So, like, we go from Tiffany Stratton showing up at Payback, making her presence known with a guaranteed bona fide Hall of Famer in Becky Lynch. We're coming off of Kiana James winning a women's Fatal 4-Way main event the week before to get this match, and they get 7 minutes. Now, the only thing that saved that segment for me was the fact that we got the Becky pre-tape that says, hey, I'm coming to Orlando next week, put that title on the line. That was the only thing that saved it for me, because say what you want about Kiana James or Tiffany Stratton, they're both better than 7 minutes.
I agree. But that's the state of the women's division right now, unfortunately. I mean, if you look at Rhea and Raquel, it was only 8 minutes on Payback.
Yep.
So that's a bigger issue.
Be better. Just be better.
Do you think... Obviously, I don't think the match with Becky's going to happen next week. Do you think they save it for an NXT PLE, or do they save it for Fastlane? Like, do they they've already had Tiffany on the show up on the main roster? Do they?
Yeah, let me see. I forget where No Mercy is this year. I'm just waiting to see. I'm just looking up to see where it is.
Bakersfield, I think.
Okay, all right. California show. Fastlane's in Indy. I mean, there's appeal to both. So maybe
is there? I've lived in Indy. There's not much there. Not much appeal in
Indy. You see how he treats me? See how he treats me?
I've been to California too. You've been to California. It's nice.
I have too. Yeah, it was great. It was a real good time up until it wasn't. Thank you very much for reminding us of that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anytime I can.
Okay.
You can always go to the winning city if you want to. Yeah.
Read between the lines, bud.
No thanks. I have a hard time looking at colors anyway. You want me to read it? You want me to read in between the lines now? No, I'm not colorblind.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. Whatever. All right. Actually, one last point before we move on from NXT. Duke Hudson deserves better. There's a heel turn in there somewhere. I'm just waiting for him to take Duke Hudson or take Andre Chase's head off. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway,
it seems like Thea is now the heel.
I hope so. It's getting there. I mean,
no.
Lord knows Gigi Dolan. It's not working with Gigi Dolan. It's not working.
Nothing's working with either of those two split up.
Okay. Well, yeah. No, it's not.
Together.
Okay. If they would put them back together, I think it's just kind of a we're just going to do it on the main roster. I would not try to undo everything that they did on NXT these last couple of months to try to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Why? Nothing else is working. Neither of them feel.
I'm just saying I just wouldn't. That's all I'm saying is I just wouldn't.
I would.
Bring them up as a tag team. We know what they can do. Michael Cole is good at, rewashing history. That's like, okay, what singles run? What, barbershop-esque segment?
Yeah, when she got kicked in the face. Oh, man, I remember that.
Yeah, that door did not give.
No, JC laid it in. I remember she posted the picture the next day. Her face was all bruised up.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yep. Not great.
I'm excited for next week. I don't know if it's next week. It might be next week. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
Dude, I'm telling you, Heritage Cup, I love the time limit draw. Duke Hudson still deserves better because he should not have gotten squashed by Nathan Frazier. I love Nathan Frazier, but that's not how that should have gone down, okay?
I'm okay with it.
Whatever. Okay, fine. We'll talk about that off camera. But for me, it goes back to the point of what I said a couple of weeks ago when this tournament was announced. Look, you have an opportunity to have 8 guys who are not going to be anywhere near Dominic Mysterio and that North American Championship for the time being, because quite frankly, how many of those guys are you realistically going to bring up to Raw, SmackDown, or a PLE that will be ready to compete with? I mean, while Dom is not, the most polished wrestler in the world, he's still a heat magnet. So that just does put him into another stratosphere, and the alliance with Judgment Day also helps him out there. None of these guys I'm seeing competing with him anytime soon. So if all these guys can get a chance to shine in this round-robin tournament, earn some points, have some fun with it, all built to no mercy, why not give them the chance to do that? Duke Hudson also took over for Andre Chase when he was out. And if you'll see, if you've seen my recaps on NXT, which I definitely need to get back to, doing soon, and also check out the archives for the old ones, you'll see all of the things that I'm doing while I am waiting to see the Duke Hudson heel turn. It's time. I mean, if anything, break them off.
It's too long.
Yeah.
They're waiting way too long for it. I also have a question for you.
Hit me.
Why do you have Baba Kato? What is the point?
First of all, his name is Dabba-Kato. And second of all, I have no idea.
Tyler Bate beat him in 3 minutes.
I know. Yeah.
And nothing. That's not against Tyler Bate, but like they acted like it was such a big deal. He beat him, but like,
well,
he hasn't done anything.
To be fair, 3 minutes used to be a big deal in WWE.
It did, but that was a darker time.
Yeah. No.
That was before the superhero in training and
the letters HLA come to mind.
Yeah. All right. See.
Man.
Don't do that.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
You brought it up.
I brought it up, but I didn't do it.
No.
I didn't do it.
We're past that.
It's fine. We are past that. I just
don't understand that. Like, it's a weird one-off match that didn't really do much for either guy.
Yeah, and because I think that didn't Cruz and Kato have a match on NXT PLE? Like, it was this year. I feel like that they just kind of did their blow off. Everybody's moved on, but like
at this point, with as much wrestling as we are watching, I'm going to forget about this Bate match probably in the next 2 days. But there's no way I remember a match with him and Cruz. No way. I barely remember Cruz's NXT run.
Yeah. Well, I will say there was at least one episode of NXT UK where Tyler Bate and A-Kid had a great match. So who knows? Maybe I'll get Tyler Bate and Axiom to make all of this sort of okay again.
Hey, Pete Dunne and Axiom had a great match. Butch.
Yeah, that's true.
He's Pete Dunne to me.
We do have another question here in the chat here on YouTube. Chris is just definitely having some fun here in the chats today. But this is your birthday, so I'm gonna point this one out to you.
Yeah.
Tag team matchup, because we discussed celebrity involvement in wrestling. We talked about The Rock here previously. If The Rock and Kevin Hart tag team match, who are they taking on?
Oh boy, that's a Roman Reigns and Jason Momoa. Keep it in the bloodline, baby.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
An all bloodline main event.
Smo and SmackDown. I like that. Okay.
Because Kevin Hart can, he can play into that. He's related to The Rock somehow. That's his son.
I will say Cody Rhodes and Stephen Amell.
Ugh.
Well, no, hear me out, because this is a far cry from Stephen Amell from SummerSlam, okay? This is Stephen Amell, who's also been working on heels the last couple of years. Also, Cornelius Pepperbottom, you still big time at us and don't want to come on our show? Yeah, for real. We're not hard to find, all right? I'll tell Bryce and Zach to get you out here, all right?
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
his friend did have a rough week.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, we're not gonna call it. I mean, we don't know that they're friends, but
they know each other.
You can say coworker.
Coworkers, yes.
There you go.
Yes, coworkers. Be careful.
Do we really sound bitter over CM Punk? I might, but no. I mean, not bitter at like what happened, but more of the just like I'm not falling for this again.
It does suck though, doesn't it?
Yeah. CM Punk to Impact confirmed. Kidding.
I think he's done, man. It is weird we haven't heard from him yet. There must be like an NDA.
Give it time. I don't know. I mean, Tony didn't sound too confident in that whole, okay, well, it's not my department, not my purview, what his non-compete is. Do you really think that if I'm Vince or Triple H or Bruce Pritchard or Kevin Dunn or Michael Hayes, that if somebody leaves my company, that I'm not going to know when their non-compete's up?
Yeah, and I did read something interesting, too, that like it's Ari Emanuel who has the final say.
I'm okay with that, actually. I'm very okay with that.
If he wants CM Punk's coming.
Oh, damn it, Ari.
And they I mean, he does have that relationship because he was in UFC.
Well, that's not like I can't imagine them wanting him back now.
Well, they're not going to want him in UFC, but like
fine.
They have had a partnership before, and I'm sure. And CM Punk did bring eyes to UFC when he was there. Like, say what you want about CM Punk. Say what you want. Yeah, CM Punk will bring eyes to your product.
I do. Yeah.
And if you argue that, you're just not paying attention. And I'm not saying you're arguing that. I'm just saying if we're looking at it, and I'm playing devil's advocate, CM Punk did a lot for AEW.
He did
a lot.
He did move a needle. Move a needle.
Good and bad, but man, like that was such a big get for AEW. It popped the biggest Rampage number that they're ever going to get for that show. The pay-per-view matches he had on screen, Punk was
that program with MJF. It's just
yes. I mean, when he won the world title, that was an awesome moment. Obviously, what happened afterwards sucked, but
I even went back and rewatched like that part of the scrum, and I'm still just kind of like you just decided that you were going to go to work and just choose violence today.
Yeah, but Tony should have said something. Tony should have stepped up there. He should have cut that off right away. And that article you sent me, he should have cut that off right then and there. And
it could have been avoided.
Be in the company.
Because I mean, even and I think that anybody that knows me knows that I love the Bucks. I love Kenny. I love the Elite. I do love the Elite. And I'm not going to pretend that I was in that locker room to know what happened during any of that. However, to your point, Tony Khan is, in all press releases, he is the president, the general manager, CEO, head of creative. It's your final shebang. Say. You are the Vince McMahon in that position. And not once, given the fact that you are the son of an NFL owner, you couldn't take 30 seconds to just be like, no, I'm squashing this shit right now. Like like that just didn't cross your mind at all.
No, he missed that opportunity. And yes, it sucks. It really does. It'll be interesting to see because they have the video.
They do.
And if Punk sues,
we're never going to see it. We're never going to see it.
So say Punk sues for wrongful termination. It'll come out.
The brawling or the video of the incident with Jack you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that'll come out. Yeah. If he sues, that's...
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I mean, CM Punk is not a lawyer, but as a lawyer, he knows what discovery is. I'll give you a pat on the back for that. Yeah.
And then that and like Jungle Boy must be counting his lucky stars that his involvement wasn't that bad because it
could have been worse,
but they had the, they say the third party investigation and that came up with, you need to get rid of CM Punk. So that probably means that Jack Perry's involvement in this wasn't as bad. Like something happened.
Yeah, sure.
Where they say you have to get rid of him.
Yeah. I would imagine that was indeed the case. Again, we're just speculating, postulating, gesticulating, whatever other words that we can, kind of use as synonyms here.
I don't even know what 3 of those meant.
Anywho,
yeah,
we'll see what happens. I do have I want to ask you which one's more likely though. Okay, is it more likely that CM Punk returns to WWE or Ronda Rousey returns to UFC 300? Happy birthday.
Probably Ronda. When is UFC 300? I have not followed the UFC in so long.
Let me fire up my search engine machine.
I just don't think CM Punk. Okay, in what capacity for CM Punk?
Spring of 2024 is UFC 300, so we still got a few months.
Yes,
okay. But think about what we heard when it comes to the potential CM Punk feud that we would have gotten had he left, after Brawl Out and all of that, Rumble return, Kevin Owens WrestleMania program.
Yeah, but he said he was open to it. Was WWE open to it? Like, he can say whatever he wants.
I mean, how many times have we heard Vince say, "Never ever will so and so be back on my TV"?
Never. We've never heard.
Realistically, we've heard it a lot, and they're
honestly, in all honesty,
come on,
one.
Okay, fine, but Bruno has been back in the fold.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior back in the fold.
Yeah.
It may have been posthumous, and there might be way more context than we're going to get into on this show when it comes to Randy Savage. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even he and Hogan are strange bedfellows, frenemies. I'm not talking to you. I'm not your friend. All that kind of,
Yeah, junk.
So I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out. I think that, I'm not saying that I want it either. Okay, let's make this clear. I am never going to voluntarily campaign for a CM Punk return to any wrestling promotion ever again. That's a fact. But if they can make money with them, they're sure shit going to try.
Yeah, and that's the thing that scares me. But I mean, at this point, do you really want to upset your locker room that bad? With AEW looking like a viable, they've looked like a viable company, but like they're going to be around. You got people in contracts that if you bring CM Punk in, they're probably going to want to leave. Do you really want to go through? Do you really want to go through all that hassle just to get one payday when you can, you're making a lot of money right now?
Yeah.
Why do you want to? We've seen the Punk return after all the years with not wrestling. It's not like he's coming off something great.
I could see them doing it under one specific certain circumstance. Exactly one.
Hall of
because
Fame?
we've no. Okay. We're in a new era where product placement is the thing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
If Pepsi said, "Hey, we're going to back up the brakes truck, what you got to do to get CM Punk to show up here, bud?"
Nah, Pepsi's not worried about it. Pepsi's got the NFL. Yeah. NFL's paying more for that.
Yeah, however, NFL is also in bed with WWE these days now, right?
Except for the Jacksonville Jaguars, yes.
Okay, 31 of 32 NFL teams are in bed with the WWE. My bad. See, it's this kind of, you know what? I'm telling Heather, all right? Leave me alone.
That's fine. She's home. You can tell her.
Heather!
I can only hear you in here, buddy. Sorry.
Fine. All right. I'll just text her.
Yeah. Don't text my wife. Any final thoughts?
Nothing on TV this week, or at least on WWE TV this week. Let's take a quick look at AEW. We got a few things announced for Dynamite tonight. The World Title Eliminator Tournament is starting. Winner gets MJF at Grand Slam in a few weeks. Looks like we've got Darby Allin and Nick Wayne going one-on-one. Roderick Strong and Trent Beretta. I think this is just Darby's chance just to work with Nick, make him look like $1 million bucks.
Walking? How is Darby walking?
I don't know.
Slow down, dude. I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's you know.
Do you think Joe's in this tournament, or do you think they hold off for that?
I don't think he necessarily needs to be in this tournament in order to stake his claim at all.
I agree. But
yeah.
do you think they save it for a pay-per-view rather than the TV special?
Yeah, Full Gear's around the corner. I mean, all it takes. I mean,
Wrestle Dream too.
I don't think it's going to happen at Wrestle Dream. Sorry, I also forget. Damn it, that's right. Look. 4 was enough. 4 was enough.
I agree, but they're going
okay.
12.
Even for Forbidden Door, 4, fine, big 5, like whatever. Nice round hand. You know, there we go. Now we're just doing too much. But okay, sure. Yes, Wrestle Dream is coming. I honestly see Wrestle Dream as more of another Forbidden Door type show, but that's just me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because New Japan's running a show the same day.
You don't say.
Yeah, and it's a big card. Like Okada's on it, Tanahashi's on it, Naito's on it. Okay. There's one guy not on it, named Will Ospreay.
God.
He's not booked.
I feel like I'm not upset at that, quite frankly, just because I'm also just biased. I'd like to have Will Ospreay around for as long as we can possibly have him. As long.
Oh, he's coming to AEW. It's fine.
I hope so. I mean, it's just
he is.
Life is precious, and we just I would like to enjoy my contemporaries as long as I can have them.
He's coming to AEW.
Okay.
I don't think I have too many final thoughts. Like you said in the beginning, we'll be on the last week with wrestling tomorrow, so be sure to tune in with that. You sent me the rundown today. I'm sure I read it, but I forgot it because
that's all right. We got a fun show ahead for sure.
But yeah, go ahead and watch us on that. What time did you say?
That will be at 7 p.m. Come check us out. We are on all major platforms. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, YouTube, Twitter. I think they're on Facebook too. But basically, those are fine. X. Sorry, I got to keep reminding myself that it's not
CM Punk.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Hey, did you see that Akira Tozawa's on Level Up this week?
Wait, you watched Level Up this week?
Well, no. Hold on. No. I just saw it. I read it.
Okay.
Until they take Byron Saxton off the commentary team.
Is that it? Is that all it takes?
Yeah. Do you remember the dark times?
There have been a lot of them, so you're gonna have to be more specific.
You know which ones I'm talking about.
No, again, you're gonna have to be more specific.
Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and that guy.
Okay, or do you also not remember Adnan Virk, Jimmy Smith?
I don't remember Adnan Virk. I think I missed those 2 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks. Kevin from work. I don't know. There's
Todd Grisham, wasn't he back? The coach.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those are 2 different people. Yeah.
I know.
I don't think they were back at the same time. Well, they might. I don't know. That seems like something they would have tried. Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Cincinnati? I know you got a friend in town. I know you want to go out there and party.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Not that I can think of. I'm just kind of going back through the captions here.
It's a setup night for Dynamite. We'll see what they're building towards another pay-per-view. Yeah, I did defeat technology today. So
you did. Good timing. Yeah, you did. And then also one more final time, happy birthday, buddy. We appreciate you. For all of us here at the Wrestling Junkies podcast, which is literally just only me. I mean, he's just kind of stuck with me at this point.
Yeah, I am. It's okay. I love it.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
Be a lot worse.
Be a lot worse.
I agree. Yes. Yes.
I think we got some names in mind. It could be a lot worse. But anyway, buddy,
we digress.
Good to see you. We do. Check us out tomorrow, Last Week in Wrestling podcast, 7 p.m. We'll be tweeting everything out on our socials. I got nothing else. So, Podcast Dad, happy birthday, my friend. I love you. I am Mr. Cincinnati. Thank you so much for listening to the Wrestling Junkies podcast or watching if that's what you're doing. We will be talking to you guys soon.